We have one goal: to interview the best in sports, to meet the biggest names and find out what makes them tick, and the St. Louis athletes who move the needle with their compelling story. I'm Frank Cusimano, and this is Sports Plus.
Nemhard, he connects a three. Kalkbrenner rocks the rim. Shireman, off the window. Ladies and gentlemen, your great Blue Jays are elite. Jays win.
Good evening and welcome to Sports Plus, and it may just be the best time on the sports calendar. The Cardinals are heading north. We have soccer, football, and hockey to watch weekly, and of course the big dance is continuing to captivate. For a few moments last night, we in the area had thoughts of two local players making the Final Four, but UConn dashed those hopes when they blew out Gonzaga and Belleville West grad Malachi Smith. Today, Trinity High grad Ryan Kalkbrenner played for his shot to go to Houston with Creighton. And so for tonight's main event, we go to Louisville for the South Region Final, the Blue Jays taking on San Diego State. Kalkbrenner made his presence felt early. He scored 10 of Creighton's first 26 points. He finished with 17 total. But San Diego State's defense kicked in. 6:30 to go. Darian Trammell, remember that name. He gets the bucket in the lane, and the Aztecs have the lead. Frustration for Kalkbrenner and the Blue Jays. They were down 2 with 30 seconds to go, but Baylor Shireman, he's the man on the spot. Steal bucket, that ties the game. The Aztecs had the ball in the final seconds, and here's Trammell. The shot is no good. Time runs out, but there's a whistle. They call it on Creighton's Ryan Nemhard. Trammell made the second of 2 free throws for the lead, and Creighton's inbounds play is not going to connect. For the second straight year, the teams played a nail-biter. San Diego State wins this one, 57-56.
We won last year and we were a little short this year, but it doesn't take away, and I won't allow it to take away from what these guys have accomplished.
He worked so hard all year, and it comes down to a play like that. It's a tough way to lose.
Texas and Miami playing for the last Final Four spot. Marcus Carr up top to Dylan Mitchell as the Longhorns build a 10-point lead. But the Hurricanes were not going to accept a repeat loss in the Elite Eight. Norshan O'Meara with the and one. Canes took the lead and let their defense do the rest. Carr is stripped in the final minute. Miami knocks off Texas 88-81.
Here's a break for Blay. In on goal, shoots, and he scores! Sammy Blay right in, and he scores! Vrana with Pareko, the late man, is Shen, he scores! Another shot from the line, and the Blues tip it, and that gets in.
Well, if you wanted the Blues to fall apart down the stretch to get a better draft pick, you should have known Craig Berube was not on board with that. The Blues have been pretty hot lately, actually. 6-3-1 in their last 10. They're in Los Angeles tonight to face the Kings. Joel Hofer back in the nets, and turns out he is human after all. Watch the nice passing to set up the goal. That made it 2-0. Hofer's given up an even strength goal, a shorthanded goal, 2 power play goals. Right now it's 5-1 after 1 period. The Cardinals weren't on TV today. Thank goodness for that. Jack Flaherty allowed 6 earned runs in 3 2/3 against the Astros. That was just the start of it. Tempers flared for a bit when Jose Urquidy hit Andrew Kisner with a pitch. Cooler heads would prevail. The scoreboard was ugly, though. Yep, 24-1. Astros beat the Cards. The Cardinals had 8 pitchers today. Only 2 didn't allow a run.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
Track down to Beto! Berkey, fantastic!
Thanks to stops like that from Roman Berkey and another offensive outburst, City SC is still perfect at 5-0 after a 4-0 win against Real Salt Lake last night. They have 5 more points than the next Western Conference team and are working like a well-oiled machine. And the players realize the kind of history they're making.
It's memorable. It's something that I think every player will remember for the rest of their lives. When you have a team, when you have 20 plus boys who understand each other and don't fight each other and give each other the best of themselves on and off the pitch, it really does make a difference on Saturday nights.
Up next, we've got more soccer and more of the man of the moment. I go one-on-one with City's goal-scoring maestro, Klaus, after the break.
To Luke.
Envision the spirit as it's intercepted here by Klaus all the way home to tuck it away. His second. St. Louis have been given some gifts.
Well, one of his nicknames has appropriately become Santa Claus. And like old St. Nick, the Brazilian Dynamo has delivered some memorable gifts, scoring 5 goals for a perfect 5-0 St. Louis City SC. He's at home in our town and has our newest team on top of Major League Soccer. So tonight, the one-name wonder, Klaus, is our Sunday conversation. LeBron, Ronaldo, a lot of one-name athletes out there. You got to be pretty good. Everybody just knows you as Klaus. How did that start, and how do you take that one-name title?
My mother and my father, they were talking about my name, you know, and then they decided for João Klaus. And my grandmother told my mother, nobody will call him João. Everyone will call him Klaus one day, and you're gonna remember me. So yeah, start.
You seem like a really positive guy. You're always smiling, always having fun. Where does that positive outlook come from?
I think from my country, you know, we are a happy country. We like to smile, to enjoy with friends, and yeah, also I think this group is a really good group of guys. We have a lot of fun together. We really enjoy to be here every single day together, you know. Doesn't matter if we go to the airport, in the bus we have fun, if we are in the plane we have fun, so this makes the things easier for sure.
Now that you've been here for a while, you say you're looking for a home. Does this feel like home?
Absolutely. You know, since the first day here, I have a lot of love from the people who is working the club, the coach staff, membership, ownership, my teammates, you know. So also now we start the games, the supporters, they are amazing. So absolutely, I'm home.
If you could boil it down to one big thing, why has this been such a success so far? What's the main thing that's gone right?
I think the group of people that we have in this build, since the first day, you know, the ownership, they bring the right persons to start. I think they brought Lutz first. This is a special guy. He knows a lot about soccer. He knows how to do the things. And then he brought Bradley, John Hackworth.
We've talked about it a lot around the league and around the country. Not a lot of people expected much of St. Louis City SC, and you've proved them wrong so far. How much have you just used that we're going to prove them wrong kind of mentality so far this year?
You know, it's tough to speak about someone that you don't know or a team that you don't know, and basically they kill our team, you know. And I think like when you see the players we have here and what we have done in our careers before, I think we deserve a little bit more respect from the outside.
Just watching from afar, you're like a bulldozer out there, man. Once you get the ball on your foot, you're going to the net. Explain just your mindset once you get it and you know you have a chance to score, where your mind goes.
A few years ago, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to score goals, and you know, I think this is not something positive. So I always with my mind free, you know. So I don't know when I go to the game. I don't know if I'm going to play well or if I'm going to score, but I make sure that my mind is the right place, my mentality is there. And the only thing I'm sure I will give 100%. You know, in Brazil we said, or it's my mother crying or their mother crying. So I don't like to see my mother crying. So I always go hard.
Just explain what that feeling is like after you score.
Yeah, you have goosebumps. You know, it's just amazing because it's not only me that is happy in this moment. You know, you have your teammates and you have the crowd. So it's so many people in the same place and happy for the same thing, you know. So when you score a goal, for me, is one of the best feelings in the world.
This team has blown every expectation out of the water so far. If you guys keep playing this well, what's the limit for this team this year?
We have no pressure. So we had no expectations on us, and nothing changed after four games. So we think game by game. For sure, the only thing that I can say, we're going to be competitive for the rest of the 30 games. I don't know where we're going to finish, but for sure, I'm sure that we will not go down in our mentality in the way we want to play.
It was a successful trip to Sin City last night for the Battlehawks, a far cry from the wild fans of the Battle Dome here in St. Louis. The team destroyed the Vipers in front of a few thousand en route to a 29-6 win. The defense dominated with 2 picks and 4 sacks, and A.J. McCarron had a fantastic game, throwing for 3 scores and 236 yards. 6 games in, the Battlehawks are positioned well for a second-half run to the playoffs.
Shout out to our players. You know, when you lose a game and you come back and bounce back and play the way you do it, it says a lot about this team and the makeup of them. We're 4-2. We're in good shape. We control our destiny. That's what we want. And, you know, we'll prepare next week for another big matchup.
You deserve every bit of being with us opening day, big boy.
Oh my God. Thanks, Ollie. Thanks. I appreciate
Congrats,
it.
bro. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved.
In our spotlight tonight, we have some Cardinal conversation from our newest colleague, the Athletics' Katie Wu. All right, and joining us tonight on Sports Plus is Katie Wu, who you're going to be seeing a lot more of this Cardinals season, as she is our Cardinals insider here on 5 on Your Side. And Katie, the biggest news of the spring came last night. We've been waiting all spring for this one. Jordan Walker has made the opening day roster for the St. Louis Cardinals, the 20-year-old phenom. Just what does this mean for him and the team? Because there was a lot of speculation they actually did it. He's on the roster.
Yes, the Jordan Walker Show is officially coming to St. Louis. I know this must be an exciting time for Cardinals fans. It certainly is for the Cardinals organization. There's been a lot of hype around Jordan Walker, and rightfully so. He's considered one of the top prospects in baseball, the Cardinals' top prospect. And look, Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, was honest this February when he said that Jordan would have every opportunity to go and make the club if he could earn it. The Cardinals were, of course, impressed with all 5 tools, but what they were most impressed by was the way he carried himself, his poise, and his mannerisms.
Let's talk rotation. It's what a lot of fans want to talk about because it probably has the most questions. We know Adam Wainwright's going to be out for a little bit. We know Miles Michaelis is starting opening day. But beyond that, it seems like everybody has some sort of question mark. What's the most intriguing thing for you when it comes to this rotation?
It's a good question. I think one of the more intriguing things is what can Steven Matz do for this rotation? Last year, he was one of their big offseason acquisitions, signed for a 4-year, $44 million contract, and was unfortunately hurt for most of the 2022 season. However, with the rotation being probably the biggest question mark for the Cardinals heading into 2023, the Cardinals will have to rely on Matz pretty heavily. He's slated to be their number 5 guy, but he had a very encouraging spring, an ERA of 1.73 to end his spring campaign. And what the Cardinals really like in Matz is when he was healthy, his metrics, his data, his pitch profile all looked really good.
Let's talk about Jack Flaherty real quick here. Would definitely have liked to have a better spring from a numbers standpoint. Is there any concern coming into this year and just how cautious should fans be with him before he's anointed an ace once again?
I think for Jack, the big key is how he can make adjustments during outings. That was one of the things he was really evaluating himself this spring, was if he made a bad pitch or he got himself into trouble, how could he make the adjustments in game to limit the damage? We'll be seeing that a lot with Jack. He's slated to pitch Saturday, the Cardinals' second game of the season. And certainly a big year for him as he is looking for his final year before free agency and his first fully healthy year in about 2 seasons.
Let's talk outfield. It's an outfield that now is going to have Jordan Walker in it. Tyler O'Neill has been prepped in center field. Lars Nootbaar is an international sensation. Is it as cut and dry as Dylan Carlson, the guy on the outside looking in?
I I don't think so. I do think that when the Cardinals decided that Jordan Walker would make the opening day roster, the plan was him to play in the outfield almost every day. The Cardinals, pretty notoriously have not promoted their top prospects unless there's a place for them in the starting lineup. I don't think it's necessarily a matter of Dylan Carlson is now looking in as the reserve outfielder. I think it is a question of how can Ollie Marmol fit all four of those guys in the lineup every day, just in different positions.
On paper, this Cardinals lineup certainly looks like it could be one of the most powerful we've seen in St. Louis in quite a while. I had Wilson Contreras in the middle of the order with Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, and you've got something pretty good going. Just what is your outlook on what this offense could do, maybe compared to the rest of baseball?
Oh, certainly. I think at this point you have to compare the Cardinals offense with some of the juggernauts like the New York Mets, the San Diego Padres, the Phillies, of course. I know they had a pretty significant blow with Bryce Harper and Rhys Hoskins out, but I think you can count the Cardinals right up there as long as everyone stays healthy in terms of heavy offenses. You have the National League MVP in Paul Goldschmidt. You have the National League MVP runner-up in Nolan Arenado, and Wilson Contreras, who I think was just a really smart signing for the Cardinals in terms of addressing two birds with one stone. They addressed the catching need and improve their offense. Ollie Marmol, we talked about his likeness to split up the lineup, but he was pretty adamant that the 3-4-5 and Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Contreras would stay the same all season. Tyler O'Neill looks healthy, had a great showing at the World Baseball Classic. Jordan Walker and his prolific power should lengthen that lineup. And Lars Nootbaar had a burst onto the scene. We've talked about him, international celebrity at this point. This is, I think, and that's not even to bring up guys like Nolan Gorman, who I think had one of the most impressive springs.
That is the Athletics' Katie Woo. You will be seeing a lot more of her this season on 5 on Your Side, as she is our Cardinals insider. We will be right back with more Sports Plus. We didn't get the big matchup of Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler for the Dell Match Play finale today in Austin, but Rory did beat Scottie for the consolation prize. The big winner was Sam Burns. He bested Cam Young to win the Dell Technologies Match Play title. It's the 5th career win on the tour for Burns. Congrats to Carterville, Illinois' John A. Logan College. They won the National Junior College Athletic Association Basketball Championship yesterday for their first title in program history. Kurt Lewis had 18 points in the title game. Remember that name. He's heading to Mizzou later this year. Basketball was on the menu tonight in Alton. The 76th Gallatin Awards for Basketball Excellence in the Alton Wood River area, named for Naismith Hall of Famer Harry Gallatin. Kyoko Proctor of Alton was named the Girls Player of the Year, while the Boys Award went to Bethalto Civic Memorial's Sam Buckley. Time now for the Well First Health, Frankly Speaking, and a few thoughts on Jordan Walker. Per MLB stat guru Sarah Langs, Walker will be the first 20-year-old Cardinal since Rick Ankiel, the first position-playing 20-year-old Cardinal since David Green. And if he starts on opening day, the youngest Cardinal to do that in 100 years. We know about the power, but St. Louis is going to love Jordan Walker, the person, just as much. He's on this roster for his talent, but also knows how to carry himself. The 6'6", 250-pound outfielder may be just 20 years old, but he has a maturity well beyond his years. It is important we remember he's 20 years old, though. There will be struggles, but 2023 could be the start of a special career. I'm excited to begin the ride. That's it for our show tonight. With producer Andy Moeller, I'm Corey Miller. Have a great night, St. Louis.